Right now, in your skull, 10 different bugs are running simultaneously. Not security flaws in some software, bugs in the operating system itself. Confirmation bias filters what you notice. Dunning-Kruger makes you overestimate what you know. Anchoring locks you to the first number you see. Availability makes you fear planes and ignore cars. Sunk cost keeps you trapped in bad investments. These aren't distractions. These are active forces shaping every decision you make. This is a visualization of the whole system. What you're looking at is System 1, Kahneman's term for the automatic shortcuts your brain uses to conserve energy. Every single bias here evolved to help your ancestors make fast decisions with incomplete information. Hunt or hide, eat or wait, fight or flee. These heuristics were adaptive when stakes were immediate and information was scarce. They saved lives. But we don't live in that environment anymore. We live in markets, social feeds, recommendation algorithms, and information overload. These same shortcuts that kept your ancestors alive are now your weakest points, because they operate below conscious awareness, because you can't see them working. Here are the 10 that control you most. 1. Confirmation bias. Your brain searches for evidence that confirms what you already believe and filters out everything that contradicts it. In 1960, psychologist Peter Wason ran the 2-4-6 task. Subjects formed hypotheses about a number sequence, but only tested cases that would confirm their guess instead of falsifying it. 50% failed to solve it, not from stupidity, but from selective evidence hunting. You do this every day. Read an article attacking someone you dislike, absorb every detail. Read an exoneration of that same person, scroll past. 2. Dunning-Kruger Effect. The less you know about something, the more confident you become that you understand it. In 1999, Dunning and Kruger gave Cornell students logic tests, then asked them to estimate their percentile ranking. Students in the bottom quartile, those who scored 12th percentile, estimated themselves at 60th percentile. The knowledge required to recognize incompetence is the same knowledge you lack when you're incompetent. You watched 3 YouTube tutorials on guitar and believe you're now intermediate level. 3. Anchoring effect. The first number you encounter becomes a gravitational anchor for every estimate that follows. Tversky and Kahneman spun a wheel showing random numbers, rigged to land on 10 or 65. Subjects then estimated what percentage of UN nations were African. The 10 group estimated 25%. The 65 group estimated 45%. Both numbers arbitrary. Both influenced final answers by 20 percentage points. A store marks a sweater from $150 down to $50. That phantom $150 anchor is working on your valuation right now. 4. Availability Heuristic. You estimate the frequency of events by how easily examples come to mind. Plane crashes dominate news. Driving kills 43,000 Americans annually. Flying kills about 1,000. But vivid airplane footage lives in your memory. Individual car crashes don't. So you overestimate flying risk by roughly a factor of 100. Your brain overweights what is recent and memorable. 5. Sunk cost fallacy. You continue investing in something because of what you've already spent, not because of what it's worth now. Arcus and Bloomer sold season tickets at 3 prices. Full-price buyers attended 24% more plays than reduced-price buyers, despite identical access and identical quality. The $100 you already sunk into the gym membership that you hate is not a reason to keep paying for it. But your brain treats past spending as a future obligation. Pattern recognition isn't optional. That's also why this episode is sponsored by something built around it. A private community where I break down over 100,000 deep dive courses on psychology, cognition, and decision-making. If watching 5 biases in a row made the puzzle click, there's a whole field of it inside. Link is in the description below. Now, 5 more ways your brain lies to you. 6. Halo effect. One strong trait in a person bleeds into every other judgment you make about them. Thorndike documented this in 1920. Army officers rating cadets on unrelated traits, physique, intelligence, leadership, found those ratings correlated at 0.70 or higher, far too high for independent traits. Attractive politicians get rated as more intelligent on identical policy statements. Beautiful trial defendants receive lighter sentences. That initial impression paints everything else. 7. Bandwagon Effect. You believe what many others believe, often regardless of independent evidence. Solomon Ash's 1951 conformity experiments. Naive subjects in a room with Confederates giving obviously wrong answers. Conformed 32% of the time. 75% conformed at least once. Modern 2023 replication confirmed 33% conformity. The effect replicates across decades. Your friend group adopts TikTok. You download it. Not because you analyzed it, because the bandwagon moved. 8. Loss aversion. The pain of losing something is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining an equivalent amount. Kahneman and Tversky's 1979 prospect theory. Subjects demanded 2.5 times as much on the gain side to accept equal risk on the loss side. That loss aversion coefficient ranges from 1.5 to 2.5 across studies. Losing $50 stings more than gaining $50 feels good. You reject an investment that could gain $10,000, but risks $5,000, because the $5,000 loss dominates your thinking, even though the expected value is positive. 9. Hindsight Bias. Past events seem more predictable in retrospect than they actually were. Baruch Fischoff presented groups with the same historical scenario, but different outcomes. Groups told outcome X rated it as 50% probable. Groups given other outcomes rated X as only 15 to 20% probable. The crash seems inevitable after it happens. Your brain rewrites memory to make the past appear obvious. 10. Framing Effect. Identical choices flip your preferences based on how they're presented. Tversky and Kahneman's Asian disease problem offered a choice between saving 200 people for sure versus a gamble. 72% chose the certain option. Offered the same choice framed as how many die instead. 78% chose the risky gamble. 90% effective vaccine beats 10% failure rate. Same fact, opposite perception. The frame is the message. What connects these 10 is not complexity, it's compression. Every single bias is a System 1 shortcut, your brain's way of trading accuracy for speed. Confirmation, bias, Dunning-Kruger, anchoring, availability, and sunk cost distort how you receive information. Halo, bandwagon, loss aversion, hindsight, and framing distort how you act on it. Same operating principle. The brain prioritizes energy efficiency over correctness. In a world of immediate survival threats, that trade-off was brilliant. In a world of information abundance and complex decisions, it's a liability. These 10 biases operate in plain sight in 2025. Confirmation bias runs algorithmic feeds. Instagram shows you what confirms your beliefs. Availability heuristic weaponizes vivid AI-generated misinformation to spread lies. Loss aversion locks retail investors into bad trades. Halo effect compounds advantage in hiring and elections based on initial impression, not merit. These are operational vulnerabilities where consequential decisions get made. 10 biases. Right now, 4 are controlling a decision you're about to make. The full catalog is on the channel, deep dives on each one. Your brain lies to you. Here's the proof.